Hello everyone, welcome to New Gen Politics. So Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, has sent in 750 National Guard patrolmen, as well as 250 state police and Metropolitan Transport Authority officers to patrol the New York subway system and check bags. This is all an attempt to reduce crime on the subway. She was quoted as saying, "For people who are thinking about bringing a gun or knife on the subway, at least this creates a deterrent effect. They might be thinking, you know what, it may just not be worth it. Because I listen to the mayor and I listen to the governor, and they have a lot more people who are willing to check my bags." The move came as part of a larger effect by the governor's office to address crime in the subway, which included a legislative proposal to ban people from trains for 3 years if they are convicted of assaulting a subway passenger, and the installation of cameras in the conductor cabins to protect transit workers. The governor's plan also includes better coordination with the district attorneys to help prevent repeat offenders and an additional $20 million for expanding subway outreach programs. New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced on Tuesday to have more police patrolling the subways as the city attempts to curb a nearly 20% increase in crime levels during the first 2 months of 2024. There were 3 homicides in the underground system over January and February, while incidents such as grand larceny, felony assaults, and robbery have also skyrocketed. On Sunday, a 64-year-old postal worker was kicked onto the tracks at Penn Station in Manhattan, while a 20-year-old woman fought off a man who punched her in the face and tried to essay her in Queens. Last week, a subway conductor was slashed in the neck when he stuck his head out of the cabin window during a stop at a station in Brooklyn. So, in concept, not a bad idea, but in practice, what are they trying to accomplish? Because the justice system in our country is layered, right? First, you get arrested. Then, you get prosecuted. And then, you go to prison. Well, the last 2 aspects are not happening in New York City. And they're not happening in New York either. What has created this massive crime spree is the fact that people can get away with pretty much anything multiple times before they're ever legitimately arrested and thrown in prison. New York has the catch and release, the soft bail policies, the multiple offenses before you actually get imprisoned. It's just a disaster. It's so soft on crime. And what is this going to accomplish? Well, you're checking people's bags. But then what? If you find something, are you actually going to prosecute them? Maybe, maybe not. And this seems like a bit of a symbolic gesture. That they're going to send people out there and they're really trying and they're going to fix the city, and it's totally outside of their control. It's not Kathy Hochul and Eric Adams' fault that it's this way. It's some act of God. It's some cause by nature that crime has skyrocketed in the cities that they run, when it's not. It's clearly their fault. And a big issue is the influx of illegal migrants into the country, many shipped up to New York City. That's causing innumerable problems for the city, and one of them is crime. Migrants have been attacking people, killing people. You're hearing stories about this constantly. And so, instead of deporting all those people, being tougher on prosecution, cleaning up the streets in general, what you're doing is you're checking the bags of people at subway stations. And people are very upset about this because it's questionable as to your Fourth Amendment rights. Should they be able to do this? Unlawful search and seizure. Should they be able to just check everybody's bag? I think if they were actually going to do something about it, it might be okay. But then again, who knows? And so people are upset about this because they feel like the governor and the mayor are going to target the hardworking people of New York, and they'll go after the people who are not the majority problem. We all know who the majority problem is. So people feel like this is just kind of them going out of their way to target the hardworking people of New York, try to arrest them for anything they can, while letting the actual people causing the problems, the vast amount of homeless, the migrants, the gangs, totally run wild. That's usually what happens in these extremes is the people who weren't causing the problems get punished, like this arguable violation of your Fourth Amendment rights, and the people who are actually causing the problems, nothing's going to happen to them. Even if they get caught, they'll just get released. So who knows how long this plan's going to last for. They just need enough people out there for a photo op, and then they'll probably pull them all back. But the crime rate's going to keep increasing if you never actually punish anybody for the crimes they're committing. And if you're bringing in more people who their first act in this country was to commit a crime. The city itself is dying. It's become disgusting. It's become crime-filled. Major businesses are leaving. especially after this whole verdict with Trump that Kathy Hochul so vehemently supported, where they want to prosecute Trump, and in order to do that, they've destroyed their reputation as being a sanctuary for businesses, saying that they'll pretty much go after any business that disagrees with them, any person doing business that disagrees with them ideologically, and they'll make up charges that have no victim. If that's the person who's implementing this plan, do you really think they're going to treat the people of New York fairly? Probably not. Again, they haven't been hard on crime at all. They know who's causing it, repeat offenders. What's going to happen is the people who are not the majority problem are the ones who are going to get punished for this. Slowed down, check your bags, harassed, who knows? But this kind of security theater that comes after bad optics doesn't really amount to much if you're never going to actually arrest anybody, and if you're never going to actually prosecute anybody. And if you remember, a couple weeks ago, I talked about the Moscow Subway when Tucker Carlson went there and he showed that off and he was saying how much cleaner and nicer and safer it is. This just proves it. The Moscow Subway did not need 1,000 armed guards patrolling around checking everybody's bag, because I hate to say it, they seem a lot more civilized than we are. You don't hear stories about people being kicked onto the tracks or stabbed in the neck at the Moscow Subway. And a country like Russia, who has less freedoms than us, actually seems to have more in terms of public life. You have a lot more safety, and you're not getting constantly harassed knowing that you're not the people causing the problems. So I don't think this is actually going to fix anything in the long run. I think it's just security theater. People are pretty upset about it because that's, again, an arguable violation of their Fourth Amendment rights. Unlawful search and seizure. You know, they're bringing back the stop and frisk policy. And if you're going to target crime in the city, why just the subway? Why only target the subway? Bring in the National Guard all over the city. You know people who are on drugs. You know people who are committing crimes. Double, triple, quadruple the amount of National Guard. Prosecute these people. Clean up the streets. Go after organized groups who commit crime. But they won't do any of that. All this is meant to do is harass old ladies on the subway to make it seem like they're doing a good job. You know, then they can go in the media and they can say, oh, after the start of 2024, crime decreased by 80%. It's like, okay, because you had your people there and you're monitoring for about a month, and then they're going to pull them all back. And they're going to say, oh, New York City is safer than ever before. Not the case. Again, without arrests and prosecutions, this means nothing. And crime happens other places than just the subway. So let me know, what do you think about this? Do you think this is a policy that's going too far? Do you think it's too intrusive on people's lives? Or do you think it's a good step in the right direction to help clean up New York City? Let me know all that down in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.